No, you haven't been clickbaited, you read the title right. I truly believe that Death Stranding is stupid. In fact, I think it's stupid on many levels. First off, the concept itself is stupid. No one in the industry could have the balls to make an actual walking simulator. After all, the term walking simulator is often used in a derogatory manner to describe games deemed boring or linear by the general public. You know, the same general public that's been spoon-fed bombastic AAA blockbuster for the past 10 years. The type of people that think Firewatch, Death Stranding, or even Last of Us to some extent boring because their brain isn't being fed traces amount of dopamine by Ubisoft tier side quest rewards every 2 seconds. Of course the concept of a walking simulator shouldn't work. It's stupid, and in the case of Death Stranding, it just so happens that it's also stupidly well done. Kojima Productions actually pulled it off. I don't know what type of witchcraft was used to make this game, but it feels so good to play. I would actually just describe it as a true walking simulator. Let me put it this way, saying you're only walking in Death Stranding is like saying you're just flying in Flight Simulator, only killing in Doom Eternal, or only paying in Diablo Immortal. It does feel like you're fighting to inch closer to your next goal for like 50 hours straight. I mean, your cargo has to be balanced and looked after, Sam gets tired and hurt, the snow and rapids can slow you down and knock you off your feet. Really, both the nature you're traversing and its inhabitants are making it abundantly clear that you're not in charge. Again, this statement is only valid for the first 50 hours of the game, which is kind of dumb in my opinion. After that, the obstacles and enemies remain the exact same, but you get very overpowered, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Just chill. I've always thought it was kind of genius how holding both triggers down makes Sam grab his bag. I think it's nice that the player can feel the discomfort Sam is feeling. Very immersive. Long story short, you've probably heard this in other reviews before, but Death Stranding is better played than watched. So a lot of effort has been put into the gameplay and everything, and it works, but everything I just said about the game can just be thrown out the window the moment you think about driving a vehicle off-road, because then shit like this is gonna happen and you're gonna wonder how anybody thought this was a good idea. Sometimes you get stuck in a hole and you really wonder how any of this got past QA, you know? But losing your 15th truck of the day isn't too big a deal because other players leave their vehicles behind. Ah, yes, the perfect segue into the Strand-type gameplay this game advertised. It's a system that's basically just the Dark Souls/Elden Ring message system, but with bridges and roads instead of try fingers butthole or if only I had rump. This gameplay feature was really overhyped, a stupid amount for what it actually amounted to being in the end. But at the end of the day, it truly binds people together, pun intended. I've never seen any of my fellow porters in-game, and I barely even acknowledge their existence when I play, but God knows how many times I have praised the presence of this specific bridge near Mountain Knot City. They even thought of including the players you interacted with in the credits, which was a nice touch, definitely. Point is, while it was shilled just an insane amount to the public for actually not being that big a deal, the social aspect of this game is practically palpable. I mean, Death Stranding's whole message has to do with social interactions and is most of the time directed at gamers. Sam is the perfect vessel for this message in my opinion. His aphophobia and past trauma won't allow him to make contact with really anyone on any level. Or at least until the BB comes around, the seed of change. It really comes into the story at the same time as Amelie, reminding Sam that he was able to love. And this BB, this seed of change, it grows along with their relationship as Sam heads west. I mean, he links up with people all over America and when it's all said and done, gets betrayed and heartbroken, reverting him to the man he once was at the beginning of the game. Sam's character arc is basically a circle, just like any real person's is. He starts alone and miserable. Before the game actually happens, he cast everybody aside and became a porter to live on his own. And suddenly Amelie comes back into his life and he finally has someone else to care about again. And then the end of the game happens and he casts everybody aside and tries to live on his own, only to save the only person that really counts to him. That's why I think the end of the game makes sense from a character perspective.
Not everyone. Not me.
Come on. You put America back together, didn't you?
Doesn't mean there's a place for me. I've got no ties to anyone or anything.
And yet, because it's a Kojima game, there just has to be points where the game just drops all nuance whatsoever and tells you, LeMayo, go touch some grass, social interaction's not that hard, dude, just get over and just talk to people, what the fuck? Speaking of, let's just talk about the end of the game a little bit more. I won't pretend to have enjoyed it 100%. I mean, I definitely liked the 1v1 against Booker the Wit, and Chapter 17 was definitely a banger, but everything else was less than okay in my opinion. Like, why do they have to roll the credits multiple times? It feels like you're unlocking 3 separate endings just back to back, and it's really confusing overall. Same with the endgame twists regarding Amelie. That was also kinda, you know, meh.
Yes. It's me, Sam.
Where's Amelie?
Where she's always been? Nowhere. My daughter, Samantha America Strand, doesn't exist.
Amelie doesn't exist.
Now, don't get me wrong, it was teased okay in the story, but it all felt stupid and just cheesy, kinda tacked on. Listen, I get that Kojima is a fan of Z-grade movies. I understand the irony of someone unwilling to change, counting on someone else changing to fulfill their plan. It just felt bad for me. It's like the characters all have this one point in the game where the writing team just left the room and the interns took over for like an afternoon, you know? Like, whoever designed the tutorials deserves to get sat on by Nikocado Avocado, I swear to God.
Sam, we've received some cargo you entrusted to another porter. Assuming you didn't just lose it. You can collect it from the share locker if you like.
It almost ruins some of your relationships with the characters, which are the best part of the story. I mean, the theme of connections is just super strong in them. Bama is disconnected and then reunited with her sister because of her connection to her baby. Mads Mikkelsen has a connection to America and you through the beach he attacks you from. I don't know if it makes sense, but for me the struggle between them is kind of like fighting on the tightrope, but the tightrope connects the two fighters. So if one of them goes down, the other will fall as well because of the connection between them. Which is something that does happen at the end of the game when Sam learns more about his past. I love the relationships and dynamics these characters have. But then Guillermo del Toro calls you for the 15th fucking time in an hour and tells you that the water is above knee level, and I swear to God I could have broken his scrawny little legs if he appeared outside of a cutscene. So yeah, some character moments are really not handled well, but apart from my couple of criticisms, I really enjoyed the moment-to-moment gameplay in Death Stranding. Really, the 100+ hour journey to make this video was worth it. You'll be walking through mountains, plains, patches of boulders, all the while holding your controller like Sam holds his bag. You'll catch yourself holding your breath in BT territory trying to get an exhausted Sam out of there ASAP. You'll visibly cringe when your cargo topples over from you falling down under mule fire. And then the absolutely banging music goes. Simply put, you will care for this utterly bonkers game. You'll love the just absolutely dumb premise and the mistakes in execution. Please note that the opinions expressed in the last paragraph are only valid before the obtention of the grenade launcher. Why you can carry a rocket launcher as well is beyond my understanding. I get it in MGS, but why here, Kojima? In conclusion today, you haven't been clickbaited. I've said before and I'll say it again, right here, I truly believe that Death Stranding is stupid and flawed, but in the best way possible. It offers a unique experience in some aspects of the game, like most of the menus are smooth as butter all the time. Honestly, I cannot stress this enough, I do not see this game working if it had Ubisoft tier menus. And it also bears repeating, but the music in this game is just beyond good. Kojima games are basically mixtapes with gameplay sometimes, and of course this applies to the sound design as a whole. It's kind of a meme here that I always talk about the OST of games I'm talking about. I mean, Nitro rad bitches about title screens, G-Man about shotguns, and I make stupid edits with video game musics. Back on topic. As we've seen, some other things in Kojima Productions' first game feel lackluster or like they weren't the focus of the development team. In other words, the disparity of quality between features is greater than what you would expect from such a studio. And it does lead to some pretty dumb and stupid moments I think I've done an okay job at highlighting. And you know what? I think that's fine. It doesn't feel stupid like other games, like when Activision makes mistakes, it's upsetting but to be expected. They couldn't care less because the children will keep buying the $20 skins for their shitty battle royale. But here it feels like mistakes a first-time game director or studio would make. Some would think it's unexcusable, but I think it's great. Listen, Kojima is a 58-year-old man that's been making video games for almost 30. The fact that his latest game still carries the energy of a first game tells me that this man is still not bored and jaded by the industry. Regardless of what you think of Mr. Metal Gear, the feeling of playing Death Stranding tells me that he's got more in him. And honestly, after playing MGS5 and Death Stranding in less than a year, I'll take more where that came from. Imperfections and all. Or, I don't know, maybe it's like that because it actually is Kojima Productions' first game. I don't know, I'm not an expert or anything. Alright, go away. See you in 2024 now.